All right, so it is Autism Awareness Month, and fuck, I'm completely overwhelmed. I'm trying to get a van because it's time to. So, all right, so this video is basically going to be a quick comment on autism, and I'm just want to express my frustration that I do not have the brain to buy a van. Oh, okay. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm going to get a van. And having ADHD, it's very important that you're very clear about what the reward is for the effort that you want to put into something or for the task. And so, right, to be very clear, the reward is that I will be out on the road, away from humans, free to be able to think without the sort of the pressures and distractions of city life. And I'll also be able to constantly change my environment, which is something that's good for people with ADHD, because we can easily sort of get comfortable and complacent. And yeah, so it's part of the reason that I'm living out in the woods, is to constantly be sort of outside. I know I'm not doing that right now, but it's to be sort of outside and just not comfortable. I'm not explaining this correctly. Anyway, so I'm looking around at all this stuff, and I've got all these tabs open, which are some of them I just opened actually for the video now because I'm too overwhelmed to even actually do the research. Oh fuck. I mean, there's so many options, and I have no idea. What is this? Okay. So I'm joining these groups, and that's actually sort of what I want to say, is that why isn't there a network, or is there a network? And that's why I'm making this video. I'm hoping somebody's gonna just contact me and be like,
oh, here's a van that is exactly what you want.
For like between 3,000 and 6,000 euros. But why? I wish there was a network of ADHD and autistic people, because I mean, we are the people that so autistics especially are like barely, or not even really, I mean, it depends on where you are on the spectrum, but if you're a high functioning autistic person, like I am, then you're perfectly capable of doing things. Of course, I also have ADHD, which is a handicap, but you're perfectly capable of doing things, but just not in this world. I mean, it is an inhospitable environment to people with ADHD and autism. Socially, completely inhospitable to autism. I've stopped doing my volunteering thing because I just got too tired of people taking everything the wrong way, which is much better than in the past when I would be like, oh, what did I do? Oh no, what did I do? And now I'm just like, all right, if they want to take it that way, fuck them. Which is great. It's a great personal development thing. I just wish there was this network of like people with ADHD who, yeah, they're not people who are succeeding at the 9 to 5 thing of paying their taxes and their bills and keeping up with rent and always getting to their 9 to 5 job and staying there and yeah, and it's just and then they burn out and all this stuff. It's just awful. Okay, so you might be thinking at this point, like,
wait a minute, those are like basic human things. That's like saying
ADHD people would struggle to drink water and breathe air.
We do struggle to eat, actually. But,
so, you know, like, what do you, like, if they can't do those basic things, then like, what can they do? Because that's basically the minimum.
asking people to go to their job, do their job, then take that money and pay it to their landlord or to the bank or whatever. That seems to you like that's kind of the only option, right? And I get why it would seem that way to you, because it's kind of seeming that way to me as well. But that's because we're so used to this system, this impersonal, strict deadline, and then like so many things to consider system. But we didn't really evolve in that system, right? In fact, none of the things that like I've mentioned here, I don't actually remember, but I don't think any of these things are things that we actually that we like evolved with, right? We did not evolve where you have to go to an office and you have to get there on time, and then you have to do the assignment given to you by someone else. Then that money gets put into your bank account, and then you have to think,
Oh, hey, I have to send this to them, and I have to do that by a certain deadline, otherwise they're going to kick me out.
that is not something that we evolved with. And you guys are able to adapt to that because you did evolve with, most humans did evolve, or most individuals do have the sort of basic capacities to adjust to that kind of system. Otherwise, that system wouldn't exist with humans, right? Because it's humans that came up with the system. And we got left behind because we're used to sort of, we get up when we want, and then we have the thing that we're good at, and we do that when we want. And there isn't a million other things that we have to think about and do and prioritize and so on. So for instance, we're living on the plains, maybe we sleep in a little bit, or maybe we get up earlier than everybody else. Sometimes we get up later than everybody else. And then we have to hunt. So the reward, I talk about this later. But anyway, so let me just say that. So if you're thinking
There's nothing we can do about needing people to be able to do those basic things.
that's not true. I don't think that's true. And anyway, so they would be much happier, I think, out living in the world, living sort of freer lives, because ADHD was advantageous in a different society. When we were hunters and gatherers, there are thinkers that say that ADHD was advantageous because, if you're hunting, it's certainly advantageous to be sort of aware of multiple different things at the same time, and then be able to go boom into a thing and hyper focus on that thing, and commit to that thing. And also the reward is very fucking clear. You're not working at this desk in order to get this paycheck, some of which you will spend on rent for an apartment you don't even spend most of your time in. You're mostly in the office or whatever. I don't even know how you have ADHD and you're surviving in an office, but so I mean, we would definitely be better sort of out living in the world a little bit more sort of simply, and able to just jump from project to project and so on, and keep ourselves stimulated. And we have a lot to contribute. We have a lot of great ideas. We just can't stay for years, for even hours on the same assigned task. Now, of course, if there's something that piques our interest, and we're allowed to completely devote ourselves to it, then we can hyper focus on something and spend days without peeing or eating or whatever. But it's just so unhealthy. Like college, having to go to this, first of all, you have to be on time in your classes. You have to go there. You have to pay attention. You have to, and there's this thing called the switch cost effect, which is for all human brains. But I think it's especially sort of potent with ADHD brains. And I made a video talking about this on my trip, on my Atlas trip. And so it's one of my videos. It's from the 23rd. Anyway, but yeah, it's really difficult for us to kind of switch. And so college, it's like you got to go there, you got to focus. Then you have to stop focusing on that, go into another classroom and listen to another person speak for 50 minutes and focus on that and write that down. And it's insane. And then you have to go home. You have to get yourself to review things from that course, then review things from that course. Then you have to do a fucking essay where you have to like organize your idea. Now, if it's an essay you can do in one go, okay, ADHD person might have no problem. But if it's a thing where you have to do it over the course of like weeks, where it's not even feasible to do it the night before, laisse tomber. So, and we force all these people, and then of course what ends up happening is a bunch of ADHD people just go into trade, and a lot of their sort of, a lot of their potential gets unused. Not that trade is a bad thing, but sometimes we're forced to go into something like just pick up a trade because we're just not able to finish college. We're not able to meet the demands that neurotypical people are able to meet. We can meet other demands, and we can far exceed the abilities of neurotypical people in certain ways. But anyway, so the society right now is just not built. There's not really places for ADHD people to sort of be happy and fulfill their potential. And then for autism on the social end, just, oh, fuck. just like, I mean, there's not to mention, first of all, the amount of effort I put in to smiling and saying. So the other day, I went to, we were meeting up with someone, and so we came up with this idea to do an April Fool's prank on her. And so my sort of job was to make her think that I was mad at her, until eventually she would say,
What's going on? Are you mad at me?
because she's very direct, and, you know, she's very cool. And so we're in this, I'm about to tell you a story that might not be particularly clear, so I'm going to give you the quick version right now. So I met up with some friends in a place where there's lots of places to eat, and you have your table where you bring from whatever restaurant the things that you want to eat, from whatever stand, whatever. Okay. And so I'm with those friends at the table, and then I go and get somebody who just arrived. I show them to the table. I go out for a cigarette with some of the people from the table. She leaves the table. I'm coming back from my smoke. We cross paths in a place where you need to walk in an orderly fashion. Otherwise, it's a nightmare for everyone else. And it's very crowded, and so you have to like walk single file and through the tables, and you're looking at the different places to eat. And for me, for my brain, I don't know whether it's ADHD, the autism, or just me, but that drives me nuts, because I'm like, okay, because then people are not walking single file, which interrupts the whole traffic thing, and just does not flow smoothly, because people have so much trouble just like walking in a fucking straight line. They need to have their buddy next to them, meaning that no one can walk this way. Anyway. And so I went to go get our friend who had just arrived at the building, went to go get her, let her in. And then she met up with some of our other friends, and I went somewhere else, and then we crossed paths again. And it's at this point where you've got these single file lines that are crossing, and people need to keep moving. And these three friends of mine, they stopped.
Oh, haters!
Literally just saw each other minutes ago, and we're about to go see each other in a few minutes at the table. And the three of them stopped.
Haters! Hi!
I don't even know what they could have said. Like, what's going on? Like, no, we just saw each other, and we will see each other. And so, I'm already stressed, thinking, I'm already thinking, oh, it's so beautiful. Everybody's moving smoothly. And then my three friends stop. I don't know why I'm getting so excited about this. My three friends stop. Then there's the people behind them that have to stop. I have to stop to talk to them, so the people behind me have to stop. I will not be responsible for this whole system breaking down even for a moment. Now, because I'm supposed to be mad at one of the people, basically I just like, I didn't plan it or anything. I just said, there was no way. I'm so lucky that I was supposed to be mad at her, because I don't know how I would have handled it otherwise. But I was just like, oh, we have to keep moving. And I was confused. I was looking at them confused. I was like, why are you talking to me right now? Like, we have to keep moving. And I thought, oh shit, I didn't smile when I said that. I didn't like really respond to them, say, oh my gosh, so great to see you guys again 90 seconds later, knowing I'm going to see you in 90 seconds. This is amazing. But, oh fuck, it's so unfortunate that we have to keep moving, because we're really blocking all the traffic here, and for no reason. So let's keep moving then, maybe. I don't know. What do you guys think? I didn't do any of that, and so I was just like, oh, we have to keep moving. And of course, some of that I wouldn't have said, because that was mean and sarcastic. But when I revealed the April Fool's joke, she was like,
Oh, that explains.
and then the three girls like,
Yeah, and he was like,
oh my gosh, gotta keep moving, blah, blah, blah. Oh my gosh.
we were like, what the hell?
And I told them, I was like, that's so funny that you guys say that, because actually that was just me being myself, which I try not to do too much around you. Normally what would have happened is, because in that situation, I couldn't have really done better. So normally what would have happened is I still would have responded that way, except I wouldn't have had the excuse of this April Fool's joke. And so then they wouldn't have ended up saying anything, and they would just be like,
Why is he such an asshole?
so normally I wouldn't even find out that was a problem, and then they would just go hating me, and I would find out months later when the hate festers. Anyway, the point is that people who just don't know how to bullshit as much as regular humans, we end up getting seen as quite the threats, because you have to be insincere. And as a neurotypical person, you might not even understand. you might think,
no, it's just about being nice.
or no, it's,
Oh yeah, I guess we're kind of fake sometimes. Like sometimes we're like, how are you? And stuff like that.
no, it's much more than that. And this wasn't meant to be a long video, so I should make a video explaining what it's like to be autistic among neurotypicals. But anyway, how cool would it be if there was a network of people who are like perfectly moral and competent in general, but just don't at all fit into this world? And I know that there are a lot of neurotypical people that don't feel like they fit because of a difference in interests or beliefs and so on. But there's this entire demographic of these neurodivergent people that are just not allowed or accepted. And you think that you're so, oh gosh, like the people at my volunteering thing, they have no idea how they made me feel. Have no idea. They have no idea sort of what it was like to put so much effort into making sure that I say things in such a way that it can't be considered like an order. So I'm squinting, I'm smiling, I'm phrasing it as a question. And but that's the worst thing. It's not even like I have to actually put an effort to make sure that I don't give an order, because I'm not interested in giving orders. I am sincerely like trying to like ask, hey, would you mind doing that? It's like an honest to God question, and the person is totally allowed to say no. But I know that the neurotypicals won't take that as a real question. Like, hey, would you mind doing that? Or, oh, hey, can you pass me that? Blah, blah, blah. Because for neurotypical, that's the language you use when you're like trying to disguise an order and make it nice. So I'm sincerely trying to ask a question. So I have to like be so careful. And then even if I said, hey, give me that or something, which I would never do, not among people that I don't really know, or that I'm this scared of. But even if I said that, the person's still allowed to say no. But then, of course, if you ask even the question, people are like, oh my God. And so just the amount of times I was like joked about as a dictator, a tyrant, even though I never actually I was never the boss. And you, as a neurotypical person, if you're neurodivergent, you're understanding what I'm saying. If you're neurotypical, you might be thinking,
oh, well, yeah, you have to be polite. Or, oh, well, maybe you were bossing them around.
Yeah, maybe you would interpret as bossing around, but trust me that I was putting an effort for you to not see it that way, and you still end up seeing it that way. So not only do I have to keep my head down and keep quiet and try not to get, to have any position responsibility, but then even then, just because I'm too direct or whatever language you neurotypical people can understand, end up getting seen that way, as the big threat and asshole. And then just people thinking that I'm out to get them when I'm not even aware of that was happening in the conversation, that they could even see it that way. Anyway, so I just have to get out of here. And I have to get a vehicle in order to do that. A vehicle with enough room for my dogs and a mattress. And then maybe I will buy a caravan later after that. Like here, I'll take a screenshot of this. Like that's interesting. And then I gotta leave Paris to go find options. There's just so many options. Oh God, I have no idea how I'm gonna do this. And I just wish, I hate to repeat myself here, but I just wish there was a community of neurodivergent people that knew how difficult it was for other neurodivergent people to sort of make these decisions, and also to feel valid wanting to leave. Because we're told so often by neurotypical people about like all the efforts that we have to make to fit in, right? The ADHD people are told to just use a calendar, which is the dumbest fucking advice. Or, autistic people are told, oh, you just have to... Gosh, I had someone, that same person that I was playing the joke on, she said to me, because it's so unthinkable that humans are just unreasonable and fucking dumb, right? That when people are trying to understand why people react badly to me, when like a friend of mine is trying to understand, they will come up with all sorts of ridiculous explanations. And so she said,
oh, because you follow the social code so well that it bothers people.
You know damn well that I don't follow them well. I try to, and maybe what you mean is that like I smile so much, or I try, but no, like no, I do not, I do not like use more social codes and language than a neurotypical person. I may use them incorrectly, which yes may bother people, but that's because they're assholes. And they're idiots for putting all this effort into trying to speak to you in a way that you would consider polite and agréable. And you're gonna tell me,
wow, you're doing that so too well. So that's what's bothering people.
because it's so difficult for her to understand that no, if I were being myself, you would get upset much more quickly with me. If I weren't putting that in, you would get upset much more quickly. And everybody, all the neurotypical people say, be yourself, just be yourself. Oh gosh, I'm really preaching to the choir. Be yourself is a thing that we neurodivergent people, it drives us absolutely nuts. Because they tell us to be ourselves and don't like it when we are. And I remember there was a person who I told her that I was explaining why I didn't get my degree, and I was saying that I have ADHD. And she knew that my degree was going to be in neuroscience. And so basically what happened in her brain, so this is a neurotypical person, a very intelligent person, but a neurotypical person, she hears me say, I did not get my degree because my brain is different. Even inferior, because ADHD, there's an association that it's inferior. And within the context of today's sort of world and demands, inside a society, it is a handicap, and it is an inferiority thing, or at least that's how we feel, because the measures of what it means to be successful or competent, well, we fail at those. The ability to do the things that you want to do, the ability to do the things that are asked of you in a timely manner, and to prioritize, and all these things that are so important to being human and successful and so on, we don't have. These are the things that are defined as being important to humans. And they are definitely important for being successful among humans. And so we don't have them. And so anyway, so she heard me say that I have ADHD. So what she has heard in her brain is, he is saying that his brain is bad. And so she wants to make me feel better. So she has an instinct to make me feel better, and also an instinct against accepting this idea. Because if she accepts this, if she says, oh, okay, that's why, if she lets me tell her that I didn't succeed in school because I have ADHD, and if she was just like, oh, okay, that's valid, I hear you, and I believe you, and you're telling me this. Rather than doing that, she had to give a different explanation. She was like, oh, no. I'm not going to be party to admitting or acknowledging that you have a brain that is disordered or that has a syndrome or whatever. No, I won't be party to that. Because this is how the neurotypical brain works. They freak out about that kind of stuff, right? Oh, no, you're not different. No. So she says, oh, but also neuroscience is very difficult. And I'm offended as hell. Hang on. You're saying it's not that I have ADHD? You're saying that I'm actually just not intelligent enough to understand neuroscience? That's a better explanation to you? Rather than just that my brain works differently and I have trouble following different courses and getting my work done? Why are you saying that neuroscience is like difficult? I mean, obviously she's trying to say, no, you're normal. Neuroscience will be hard for anyone. The most important thing is that you know that you're normal, okay? And so there we go. That's a perfectly acceptable explanation for why you failed to get your bachelor's in neuroscience. It's because you're normal. There's nothing wrong with you. Neuroscience is hard. Whereas in reality, neuroscience I can understand, but I just couldn't get the work done. That's why I failed gym class in high school. And so yeah, we're certainly not taught that we can embrace that we are different. And so oh my goodness, this is so perfect. Actually, I have so much to say. So my ex-girlfriend, when I first met her, I was like, you're different, right? Because she has ADHD, clearly. And she was like, no, I'm not. And I was like, how do you look in the mirror and like see how you act compared to how other people behave? Like, she's super open. She'll express things. She's always running around and all this stuff. And, like, just forgetting things and, like, losing focus in the conversation. Just all this stuff. She's clearly very strange. And it's like, how do you think that you're normal? And her ex-girlfriend, whom I had met, who sent me a message today because she wants to interview me about living in the woods, is autistic. I'm almost certain of it. I mean, it's like you meet her and it's just like, you know, she's not making eye contact. She's just way too honest about things. And yet she's like uncomfortable in the social situation, but being completely open, which is kind of, I feel like, a hallmark of autism. And so I said to her, I was like, but you know that, and I know it seems like I'm going around diagnosing everywhere, but I was like, have you been like tested? She was like, why do you say that? I'm not autistic. But okay, actually, yes, I've just started the diagnosis process. And so my ex called me about last week, and she was saying, you know, I want to thank you for sort of telling me about saying the thing about the ADHD, and also for telling me that, because she was working an office job, and I was like, what are you doing? I mean, I didn't say it that sort of forcefully, but I was like, okay, but I think that one day you may need to just accept that you don't necessarily belong in an office. And she was struggling with this office job. She thought I was insulting the work. She thought I was saying it wasn't important and so on. Whereas I was saying that she should just do other things. And so she calls me and she says, you know, yeah, you said that I should just accept that I'm different and sort of the way that my mind works. And her family, by the way, had said to her, that's where I came up with the calendar example. I mean, I've heard it before as well, but her family, when she said that she might have ADHD, her family said, oh no, you just need to get a calendar. And they also laughed at her for suggesting that her brain might be different. It was around like Christmas dinner, and they go, oh my gosh, you think you have ADHD? Just get a calendar, woman. Inhospitable, I'm telling you. Because you don't realize the effect that has. Then you're like, okay, yeah, so they can do it with a calendar. They're saying I can do it with a calendar. So then you end up getting yourself a calendar. You kind of use it a little bit at first, and it's not working. Your life is still like a mess, and you're still confused and all this, and you're still failing to make it to your meetings and all this like she is, even though it's written in the calendar if you had it on you at the time and thought to write it down. And so so she is actually a perfect example of someone who has been trying so hard to fit into society, and not even trying hard, like socially, you know, she's totally herself and all this stuff, but thinking that the only way to do things is to live in an apartment, to have a job where you work in an office, and, you know, and also like we're told that those reliable jobs are the good jobs. And so we're like, yeah, well, we're capable of that, aren't we? We're capable of having ideas. We're capable of answering questions, of doing things. And then we get there, but we're not actually capable of sitting down that long. We're not actually capable of getting ourselves to go to that meeting and so on. And we're like, oh, fuck, you know, we're less. Oh, no. And then we're constantly trying to prove that we can do it. And so how many times did I start college? Did I try to do a semester of college and ended up dropping out? I thought it was the only way. And I thought that, you know, even though I'm lucky, I've been diagnosed young, my family is supportive and understanding. Anyway, look, I'm sorry. I have ADHD. This video is all over the place. But I just wish I need to somehow start. I just need a fucking other neurodivergent partner to help me do this. But and of course there's definitely groups, Facebook groups, Reddit groups. There's definitely groups. I mean, there are a lot of resources, so I don't know why I'm acting like there's no kind of community among the neurodivergent. But it would be really cool if I could find a community that helps the neurodivergent accept that they are different and that they don't need to try to find their place in this version of society. That they can get a van, that they can live out in a tent, live outside. You know, sort of limit their dependence on fitting into society, right? Because if you have a job and rent, you have to be able to fit inside. Your coworkers have to like you, you know, a certain amount. And that's so much pressure. And just accept that you're different and that it's okay if you don't produce a measurable product 8 hours a day. Because most of these neurotypical people, what are they doing 8 hours a day? They're working at McDonald's, or they're working in a boutique, or they're typing numbers in a computer, oh, bravo, you're able to like look at spreadsheets for 8 hours and you don't give a shit about what the project is, and then maybe you learn to kind of care and find it interesting. It's not exactly thrilling for you. That great, bravo, you're able to do that. I'm not, and I need to accept that fully on every level. Know that that is not me, and this I've accepted. But I was thinking about like, because I'm going to a conference, a critical thinking conference, and usually when I would go to these conferences, it'd be interesting talking to the scientists because maybe I could work in their lab. But I'm accepting I will never be working in a lab. I may do a day here, a day there, just for the experience if I can, but I will never be working in a lab. I will never be able to dedicate that much time to that much sort of detail and just boring shit. And so because there isn't really a place for my brain, there isn't really sort of, I mean, I could become an actor. I mean, there are lots of sort of things, but even in every domain, in every field, they're still going to expect you to be somewhat neurotypical and be able to do neurotypical things like, yeah. So I need much more freedom. I need to stop trying to fit into sort of what you guys are able to fit into. Even the pressure that I put on to make my videos organized, that I put on myself to make my videos organized or to make them shorter. I accept that I'm just not able to do that. Maybe, and that's okay if nobody wants to watch this. That's okay if it's too disorganized and so on. And sometimes when I have a certain thing that matters, maybe I'm able to talk to someone about it and organize it, maybe with someone. And sometimes maybe I'm able to organize it. But the most important thing is to just put it on the site. And then there will be the collection of my ideas for some future person to consider. Anyway, so today, so it's Autism Awareness Month. I'm sorry to all the neurodivergent people that are stuck trying to follow the neurotypical rules and then getting judged and punished by the neurotypical, and also unfairly punished, right? So it's not just that we fail a class because we didn't get the assignment done, which is that. I don't know. I remember one teacher who was so nice to me. He was like, oh, don't worry about it. Get it in. And then I got it in the last day. I got like 3 papers that I hadn't written. 3 papers, turned them in the last day. And then he gives me a C. And the teacher's assistant who had actually graded them, he says, hey, yeah, he sends me an email. Hey, these would have been A's. And I was like, so why aren't they? And he's like, oh, the teacher told me that since you're turning them in on the last day of grading, to give you a C because they took so long. What the fuck? He didn't say that to me the whole time. He was taking the pressure off of me, and I need pressure as an ADHD person. And the whole time he was saying to me, oh, okay, because he wanted to show that he's understanding. And he slapped me with 3 C's on the papers. I ended up getting a C in the course when all 3 papers the TA said would have been A's. So is that fair? I don't know. But what's certainly not fair is when we try so fucking hard to be nice to you in the ways that you understand as nice, right? Which means not to tell you when there's something in your teeth, because that's not, you now are saying that that's nice. But trust me, when we actually do it in the conversation, you get upset. You don't believe me? That's because you're an arrogant, dumb piece of shit. Or maybe I am, and you're just so convinced that you would appreciate it if we told you that there was something on your face. But trust me, whatever. Maybe don't trust me. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't think so. I mean, I'm telling you from experience. Or when we correct people, when we think that we're trying to help them, when we tell people, oh, hey, I think, well, we wouldn't say, I think you're supposed to do it this way. That's how a human might say it if they dare to correct someone. But we might say, oh, we do it this way, or, oh, this is better. Or here, oh, the other day, my girlfriend was we were volunteering with the collective, and she had an idea for how to cut the sandwiches faster. They were taking the baguette, the sandwich, the bread loaf, they were cutting it in a segment, and then they were cutting each one open. And she was just opening the whole loaf and then cutting it into segments. And she didn't dare say anything. Or I think at some point, like after a while, she goes, "Oh wow, hey look, I found this. Hey look, this is an amazing. I don't know, but this might be faster. I don't know. You guys can do whatever you want. But I'm just saying. Oh look, oh this is interesting. Oh so weird. And she had, oh gosh. So anyway, so I'm sorry to all the neurodivergent people that are stuck with neurotypical people getting angry at them because they don't give a suggestion that way, that they just say it. The amount of times that, or like somebody's lights aren't on their car, their headlights aren't on. And I remember I was in a car one time and I told the driver, I was like, "Oh, flash them." And he was like, "Oh, no, I think flashing is more for like a serious situation." I go, "No, that might be honking, but even still, no. You should let that person know that their lights aren't on." "Oh, they'll figure it out." I mean, autistic people are actually better evolved, I think. ADHD people, not as well adapted for certainly for the society. Autistic people are just not adapted for these people. But we are, it's like we're just less full of shit. I mean, we may be wrong about things. Of course, we're wrong about things. But there's just less bullshit. And so that's the unfair way that we get rejected by you guys, is that we get judged as assholes when we forget to, or don't realize to, or don't know to abide by the bullshit. People think that we think that we're better than them, or just whatever. Oh, okay, yes, you're right. I do think that autistic people are better than neurotypical people, but I in the sense of less full of shit. But I'll be in a conversation thinking we're two peers, not thinking at all about this way in which, and I'm giving this person the benefit of the doubt. I'm thinking this is the person who's going to understand me. Everything's going to be fine. And then, it starts with a little comment. "Oh, I see you like to control everything." Because I had said something a little bit too directly. And then it becomes something else. And then, and then before you know it, we're getting into these she's getting in this argument with me. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? I have no idea what's happening. And I'm like, oh gosh, you're so full of shit. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. So yes, and that's actually something that I've said is when people start to get upset at me and they say, "Oh, you think you're so much smarter than I am?" That's when I start realizing how much smarter I am than the other person. Because before that, I thought we were just having a conversation, we were peers. Then they start accusing me of all this bullshit, and I'm like, "Oh, you're an idiot." Well, I haven't gotten quite to that point in my personal development where I'm able to just be like, "Oh, you're an idiot." Well, I'm able to say it out loud, but I'm able to say it out loud to sort of convince myself to not take them seriously. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all you neurodivergent people that have been treated this way, that have had to deal with this. And also, I'm sorry if you haven't had the support or encouragement or even the courage. Courage? I never realized that. Wow. To just leave. Get out, man. Get the fuck out. Meet me somewhere. We'll start our own community. A proper moral community where with less of the bullshit, unreasonable rules of how to behave. Where it's actually like, hey, if you have something that you think contributes to my life, tell me. I gotta get out. And and I guess I want to use this video. I made that long video talking about ADHD, and it's my most watched video, over 2,000 views. Wow, amazing. So this, I know, has been a mess, but hopefully the neurodivergent can follow. I mean, specifically ADHD or autistic people can follow what I'm saying. And hopefully I'm saying things that are representative of what we experience and think and feel, and that frustrates us. But you just got to get out. And to any neurotypical person that's watched through this, that is cool. Doubt yourself. because we are told to constantly doubt ourselves. We're constantly going crazy thinking, oh no, did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Oh no, oh gosh, I'm a sociopath? Oh, I'm a narcissist? Oh no, why? Oh, I'm a psychopath? Oh no. So trust me, we get very good at doubting ourselves. And so if you could doubt yourselves and think that maybe not everything that you consider an asshole behavior is an asshole behavior. In fact, your judgment of what is bad behavior might be completely full of shit and wrong. And you can talk to an autistic person to help you sort of break some of that stuff down. Let an autistic person point out to you how full of shit you are. Anyway, so leave me a comment. If you are neurodivergent, leave me a comment. I need the encouragement. Say to me, yes, Eris, get your van, get out of there. You spent 30 years putting up with that shit. Get out of there. Just go be a philosopher. Have your ideas. And I need the encouragement. And it's going to be really embarrassing if there are 0 comments on this video, except for from my mother. Sorry, I had a coffee, and I also took my ADHD medicine because I really do need to work. So, and it gives me so I know I look more ADHD now. But part of it's my ADHD. Part of it's the ADHD because I'm getting energetic about the thing, but also it's gosh, I'm not gonna explain ADHD medications to you, but it's a stimulant. So anyway, just get out. To the neurodivergent, get out. To the neurotypical, ask a question on this. Try to figure out one way. Ask me a question, or if you don't want to interact, try to figure out one way that if you met a neurodivergent person, you could not be that neurotypical asshole who makes them try to... Because you don't realize it. That's the fucking thing. You think that it's the other neurotypical assholes that are doing it, but I promise you that you're not aware of it, but that you are doing it as well. And it's understandable. It's just you're just reacting instinctively, and I mean you're just everything is instinct. You're just reacting. And I certainly understand why you might think that we're assholes, but know that your processing of what is asshole behavior is kind of wrong, and you're being really unfair. And so next time someone comes up to you with kind of a straight face and says, "Oh, you're doing that wrong," can you just go, have they actually said anything mean? Just properly evaluate. Don't listen to when your body's screaming at you, wow, this person's a jerk, this person's a jerk, this person's a jerk. Just be like, have they actually caused me any harm? Emotionally, verbally, physically? Oh, were they trying to help me? And if you're someone who would consider living out in the mountains or just traveling around with another neurodivergent person, please let me know that as well. We could do a video series together. Wish me luck, please. I'm gonna try to do this in like a week or 2 weeks before I get before I go to the conference, the critical thinking conference. You know what? Let me add this because I was thinking about making a video about why I'm leaving the collective that I was a part of for like a year, but no. But I will tell this one story, and it relates to what I've been talking about. Recently, I was already planning it to leave, just because it's time to leave Paris. But I'm hanging out with the other volunteers. Hey, can you hang on a second? Or is it quick? Okay. Whatever you're doing. Okay. So we're hanging out with some people, some other volunteers. And there's this guy, a neighbor of the place so he lives across the street from the theater where we prepare our volunteering activities. And he has a limp, he's got a funny leg, and he's also just kind of a strange guy. And so I don't think he has any friends, and so he'll come by and just sort of sit there, either outside or maybe even in the kitchen where we're cooking and stuff, and he'll just sit there and kind of just silent and just kind of watch. And he's got some financial issues, so I'll always offer him a meal, and every time, or a few, and every time he'll say, "Oh, thank you so much, thank you, thank you, thank you," and he will never like get up and go get it himself. So sometimes the meals leave for distribution. I'm like, "Wait, did you get a meal?" And he's like, "Oh, I would love one," and so then I gotta go see whether there's one hanging around. And yeah, he's a weird guy who, he just, when you get him to talk, he just like talks about how his life is. He just talks about like sad things, and you don't really feel like you're fully connecting. He's just special. And so one of my friends, another volunteer, she goes, "Oh yeah, I saw him today. He came in the kitchen." I was like, "Excuse me, there's no room in the kitchen today, Samir." And then, thank goodness, then he left. And this person, you're thinking, "Wow, what a bitch." Like, fuck, no, she's you, dude. Like, if I described any other bitchy behavior, she would be you going, "Wow, that person's a bitch." In fact, if I changed this story a little bit and she didn't realize it was about her, she would say, "Oh, wow, what a bitch." And that's what you guys don't realize. That's why you don't doubt yourselves, because you keep thinking that all my stories about other people. No, it's about you. Because she felt like, I guess yours, okay. Maybe it's not about you, because there's only two people in a conversation. But there's the two people that know him and that are there at Wilson the Collective the most often that said these things, besides me. The other ones didn't even know who we were talking about, so they might have actually said the same thing. But so she says that I got him out of the kitchen. And it's like, and so I was like, "But he doesn't even do anything. Like, what is the harm?" And she goes, "Yeah, well, you should ask this." So then there's this girl. And she mentions, "You should ask this girl maybe what happened." This guy is like, he's not just like ADHD autistic. This guy's mentally handicapped. I don't know what he did. It wasn't enough of a scandal for her to say it. She's able to talk all this shit about him and just ambiguously refer to something he did. And she's like, "You should ask blah, blah about what happened." So she doesn't mind sending us to the person asked. So I don't think it was really that bad, right? Because it wasn't like he put his finger up her bumhole, right? Because then she probably wouldn't send us to go ask the person, right? And I just can't believe he did that, because he then he wouldn't even be allowed there anymore. So what he probably did was he was staring at her too much, and then maybe he asked her out or something, and then he just made her feel really uncomfortable because she had to reject him, and she didn't know how to leave the conversation. It's a really awkward thing, and then she talked about it. That's what I'm assuming. I don't really know, and so maybe that's bad of me to assume that, but... Oh, this was supposed to be quick, sorry. So anyway, and then this other guy, he says... Yeah, sometimes I feel like when he's talking to me, he's like trying to fuck with me. I fucking hate neurotypicals. And you're thinking, yeah, they're just assholes. Okay, maybe this guy's just an asshole. Maybe I can't get you to doubt yourself with this story. But that's why I'm leaving. It's just like, if he is seen as trying to fuck with you, even though he's like incredibly harmless, where he just keeps to himself, if he maybe tries to connect and he tries to make a joke, but he's never tried to connect with me and make a joke at my expense even, which would be okay even if he did it, but he hasn't. So if I can't imagine anything that he could do. I probably talked to him the most, by the way. And you had the impression he's trying to fuck with you. Like, you're so ready to see people as assholes that when like a mentally handicapped person, when there's like a misunderstanding in the conversation, I don't know, I'm assuming that's what happened. There was some misunderstanding in the conversation. So the mentally handicapped, so Samir was like laughing. Well, he's not like fully like, but he's definitely different. And so maybe what happened was he laughed about something. My friend didn't know what he was laughing about. And so he was like, "Oh, he's laughing at me." And had no problem them telling everyone in the group, "Yeah, sometimes I feel like he's really trying to fuck with you." I guarantee you, Samira has never tried to fuck with anyone at Wilson. Or that he's like laughing at you or something like that. I don't know exactly how to translate it. And the girl, she said he just sits around doing nothing, waiting for us to offer him a meal. He doesn't even help us with the cleaning or the cooking. Do you know what our collective does? It makes about 1,000 meals a week, and it goes and takes them to people living under bridges, or we do even a distribution point where people come to us, and when they get to us, you know what they're gonna do after they have their cup and they have their meal? You know how much of that shit ends up on the ground, and then we have to clean up after them? And I have never heard anyone complain about it. I'm sure people have, but I'm pretty sure it's not really accepted among us to complain about that. To say, gosh, wow, it makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense. I mean, we give food to people who are perfectly physically capable of working and stuff. And a lot of them could work on cash for cash. And they, it's difficult for them to integrate into French society, and also all their friends are on the street, and so they end up staying on the street maybe. And so I don't know what percentage of refugees end up on the street, but I'm assuming it's a minority but anyway, but these are people that could work, but then for a bunch of other reasons, they're not. This guy is like literally handicapped physically and mentally. And he goes there and he sits, and we are mad that he does nothing to earn his meal. The meal that we are preparing to go give to people who are sometimes smoking crack under a bridge. And sometimes they will get mad at us. Sometimes they will slap a woman's ass. And that sort of bothers us, but we continue to do that. No problem at all. And Samir doesn't deserve his meal. You're all so fucked. Anyway, so yeah, neurodivergent people, let's leave. I finished the last video so well, so it's kind of unfortunate that I added this part, but anyway, yeah, and also I just felt incredibly unsafe. If you think that, I already know that people think that I'm being an asshole with them. If you think that this guy, who has not even done anything that could make me think that, could make me understand why you would say that, oh my goodness, the things you must think about me and the things you guys must be saying about me. And my ex-girlfriend, she had even heard people talk. I had this argument with this woman, and that's the last time I went to Wilson, besides on Saturday, but that's the last time I went during the week. And my ex heard about this, and it was just such a fucking dumb argument. It wasn't even an argument. I was trying to explain something to her. She thought I was getting angry because, humans don't really explain why they want the other person to do something. They're supposed to just I can't explain. You're so unaware of the things that you need in the conversation, the things that you guys do. You guys are so fucking unaware. So you think you're reasonable. You think, oh gosh, talk to an autistic person, talk to a neurodivergent person. Have a neurodivergent person just follow you around for the day and point out all the nonsensical bullshit things you say and think and all this stuff, and how far you are from reality. I know you don't believe me. Let me follow you around for a day and show you how full of shit you are. Okay, this video is a complete mess. And I'm completely, so I was gonna drink a beer in order to, but we're gonna do some sport, right?
Yes,
We're gonna do some sport, some exercise, and then maybe that'll bring me down, and then maybe I won't need the beer right now, and then I can have the beer afterwards as a reward. So, fuck. There's this video, I can't find it, that I want to add to this. And now, this video is such a mess that who gives a shit what I put in it now? I think that's because you're so used to this system. And it's also very hard for you to understand what our difficulties are. I read a post the other day. This is supposed to be a quick note, but anyway. Like I said, don't believe me when it's quick. I need to not believe myself when I plan to be quick. I read this post saying that ADHD is a very expensive disorder because you forget to pay a bill, and then all of a sudden you have all these fees and all that because, the system won't accept that, you know, that your brain moves differently according to this post. And so I had a check every month, 500 euros, just because I had already worked a little bit in France, and so just to cover my basic survival needs. I missed a meeting for that, completely forgot about it. And, I just didn't even know about it. I had gotten an email, didn't see it. And I missed that. Now I no longer have that money coming in, which is another reason that I need to get the vehicle now with the money that I have saved up, because then I have to go do all this paperwork, and there's just, fuck that. And then also I have to go every 3 months, I have to go check my mail. And if I don't, they're going to close my P.O. box. I think it's been more than 3 months, and I have to renew it. I'm supposed to renew it 2 weeks before it ends. It ends on Thursday. And then I will have no more address. And that will be a nightmare if I have to then get a different address and change my address. I just need to get out of here. But if you're thinking like, wait, if you can't do those things, I'm like, what can you do? Like, how do you expect us to accommodate for like basic things? You're saying that you're not able to like work for rent? You're not able to pay your rent? Like, what other way could we do things? To be honest, I don't really know. That's why I'm bouncing. Oh shit, I forgot you're on the phone. Oh fuck. So anyway, but yeah, so there are other, so I don't know. There could definitely be more tolerance in the system. So if you know that, like, maybe you could make an exception for the population that's been diagnosed as ADHD or autistic. No, just ADHD in this case. Of course, there are a lot of people that don't have the culture or the finances to go get themselves diagnosed ADHD if they have it, and they end up just thinking they're lazy idiots their whole lives. That's really sad. So yeah, just if you're thinking that, well, then these people are just hopeless, I just have a lot more to explain to you. But yeah, you know, this is also a way to launch your exercise video career, which is, you know, you're kind of piggybacking, you're kind of a parasite on my channel, to be honest. But I'm okay with that.
Kind of what?
A parasite, you know, because you're kind of using my channel in order to launch your exercise video career.
Moi, j'ai rien demandé. J'utilise rien du tout.
But hey, you know, I'm just generous like that with my audience. So, you know, it's okay if you steal my whole audience. So what do you think? Can we include that?
Je pense que tu risques pas grand-chose.
That you would steal my audience, I think.
Vu comment j'arrête pas de bailler,
honestly,
ça donne pas très envie de faire.
Honestly, the reason I'm including this is I'm trying to add a little bit of sex appeal to my video, and that's why I took off my pants. Just a little. But seriously, can we leave this in, or how do we feel? What are we concerned about? We feel a little bit embarrassed about people seeing our body. Is that it?
Oui.
Yeah. But everybody who's looking at that body, they're like, you stupid bitch. Like, there are people with actually ugly bodies. And they're like, seriously, if you can't even be on camera, then what's all this body positive? I'm supposed to feel comfortable on camera, but you can't even feel comfortable on camera? You know, it's like women who they're naturally beautiful and they say, oh, hey, we shouldn't wear... Actually, I don't know whether it's the same. But anyway. So what do you think?
Okay.
Oh, really? No, but seriously, I don't want to pressure you, though. I want to convince you, because I think that it is true that there's nothing wrong.
Mais c'est qu'il n'y a pas de lien avec ta vidéo?
There is, though, because I'm talking about ADHD, and exercise is a big thing for ADHD. And then also, this video is just kind of showing me. And so now they're getting a little glimpse into our relationship. Anybody who watches until the end is going to be a glimpse. I know, I explained this word yesterday. It's when you get just a little... Comment dire a glimpse? Genre quand tu vois quelque chose vite fait, quoi. Tu vois, c'est vite fait, c'est juste... Bon, c'est quand même 3 minutes, mais... What do you think? Or what would you feel comfortable with? But also, fuck your comfort, right? I mean, not actually fuck your comfort. I'm just thinking about all those ugly women out there that feel so embarrassed in front of the camera, you know? I just feel like we really want to promote a positive, body positive thing, you know? I've got videos of me looking actually gross. You know, I mean, not as gross as it gets, but, you know. Oh, what do you think?
Ok.
What do you think? Do you know that you're beautiful?
On verra ce que disent les gens.
Huh? What?
On verra ce que disent les gens.
Yeah, well, I don't think a bunch of people are going to say, what the fuck is she doing up there? She's hideous. And if they do that, that's going to be good for your character strength. Because I know that I'm ready for people to tell me I'm an idiot, they don't know what I'm talking about, that I'm an asshole. And they might even be right. If people say that about you, they won't even be right. And you can at least reassure yourself with that. But me, I'm putting myself out there. Put yourself out there with me, please. As my partner, put yourself out there with me. Because I don't even really want to post it. It's such a fucking mess.
Ok.
Yeah? Oh my gosh. But do you feel manipulated right now?
No.
No? I don't know. We'll see. And see, I'm really putting myself out there. Because there's audience that can be like, oh my God, why do you? Oh, you exploited. And...
No, I feel uplifted.
You feel uplifted? Do you actually?
Oui.
Do you actually?
Bah oui. Ça m'aide à me détacher de...
Yeah, you should be speaking English. Oh, by the way, sorry, I'm not putting subtitles on this, to be honest. So if you don't know what she said, just know that... Can you just say in English that, yeah, you're okay with the video being up there?
Yes, I'm okay.
All right. And you feel uplifted, you said. Yeah.
But I'm going to put this video...
I'm going to put this at the end as well. Yeah. Because otherwise, it's to cover my ass a little bit. So that, and also, I just thought we looked really cute. Okay. Great. So, more thing, because honestly, who gives a shit? So I mentioned that the ex-girlfriend of my ex-girlfriend, I've diagnosed as autistic. By the way, I haven't even been diagnosed as autistic. Sorry. And one of my psychiatrists said, I don't think you are because I think you have a high emotional intelligence. And I think I am good at like reading faces, but I guess I don't fucking know. So I'm sorry to say this at the end that I haven't even actually been formally diagnosed. And that, in fact, that a psychiatrist that didn't believe it. But just over the past couple of years, it's just been like... And I also have had people say that they think I am. One person who works with autistic people, and I didn't ask her. She volunteered that. It was a Tinder date. And she interrupts me. She goes, by the way, have you been tested for autism? Because I work with autistics. And anyway, so the ex-girlfriend of my ex-girlfriend, whom I have diagnosed as autistic without having the credentials or diagnosis myself. And I know I said that neurotypicals are full of shit, and you might be thinking that I'm full of shit, but I don't know. Anyway, so she wants to interview me about me living in the woods and stuff. And I tell her, and sort of being marginalized person, and I said, well, that's so funny because I'm editing a video right now, recorded a video today where I talk about sort of my marginalism. And anyway, so yes, we talked on the phone, and sort of near the end of the call, she goes, oh, and how are you? I know we're supposed to say that. And I was like, why don't you realize that you're autistic? Because yes, you are supposed to say that. And no, I hadn't noticed either. And I was comfortable in the conversation. And yes, we did both forget to do this stupid neurotypical thing. And okay, so yeah, let's get it out of the way. I'm good. How are you? And yeah. Neurodivergence unite. I was going to say align, but no, unite.